how to find a reputable jeweler online, because reputation matters. That's exactly what I'm going to get into today. If you're in a situation where you're looking for a reputable jeweler and you want to find them online and you don't know how, where to start or where to go, this episode is for you. First of all, I just wanted you to know that you're not alone, right? So many people actually live in a small town or even in a big city, but they don't want to be limited to the jewelers within that local community. Instead, they found someone on social media. Instead, they found someone online that they like their work. They found someone online where they may be able to find a better deal. They found someone online where they're actually a better artisan or a craftsmanship. They love their craftsmanship, and they found someone that they want to work with. But at the same time, they're constantly questioning, well, I've never actually purchased a big ticket item online before, especially jewelry. How am I supposed to know I can trust this person that they'll deliver? What if I pay money and they don't deliver? What do I do, right? So this video is going to break down the different ways you can actually find a reputable jeweler or really filter out this process to find a reputable jeweler. Okay, so my name is Michael. I am here at Fire and Brilliance. If you don't know who we are, we make these videos for people all the time to make your shopping experience that much better. So if you like what you hear so far, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now, that said, let's go ahead and go to step number one. Number one is to check their credentials. What do I mean by that? Well, your credentials is, where did you go to school? How much do you know about jewelry? Are you educated in the subject matter? Can you communicate in terms of jewelry? How many years have you been working in the jewelry industry? Do you have any experience, right? So these are all questions that you should be asking a jeweler when you're working with them, right? A piece of jewelry is a big ticket item. Usually people buy jewelry because it's for something that's sentimental or for celebratory reasons, right? So it's for an anniversary, a proposal, a wedding, a gift, a birthday gift, a Mother's Day gift, or whatever it is situation, a milestone for yourself, right? It's a gift for yourself because you achieved a specific milestone, a professional milestone, or whatever it is. So if that is truly the case and you're trying to make sure that you're working with a reputable jeweler, you also got to make sure that they have the right credentials. You know, many people that actually sell jewelry, believe it or not, they sell jewelry, but they don't know jewelry. There is a difference, right? So when you're working with someone that knows jewelry, they don't actually even have to sell it because they know so much about it. They could talk on and on and on and on about that piece of jewelry, about the color, the clarity, about the type of metal, the purity, whatever the situation is. They know so much about it that their knowledge sells itself. Whereas if you're working with a salesperson, if they're constantly telling you, oh, you should buy this or you should buy that, or because of this price or that price, you might be just talking to a salesman as opposed to a jeweler, right? So make sure you look at the credentials. Now, at the same time, when it comes to credentials, there are many people that actually go to very specific jewelry schools to understand jewelry, right? The school that I personally went to, and I referenced this many times in the past in my videos, you do not get sponsored by them at all, just a full disclosure. I went to the Gemological Institute of America where I learned jewelry. I learned diamonds, right? So I know what I'm talking about. And if you are going to look for a jeweler, you should also look for someone that actually knows what they're talking about, so that when they are going over that piece of jewelry for you, could actually trust them. So number one, that's credentials. Check the credentials. Number two, look for certifications, right? So normally when someone sells you a loose stone, regardless if it's a Moissanite, regardless if it's a lab diamond or a natural diamond, these types of gemstones many times will come with a certification that will go over the 4 C's: the cut, the color, the clarity, and the carat weight. Now, again, I want to fully disclose, not all jewelry stores will always have a certificate for every single gemstone. It's actually very abnormal that you'll have a certificate for every single gemstone. However, a reputable jeweler that's been around the block for a while should have a good collection of certificates of gemstones that have been graded with a certificate from a gemological institute, right? Because they should have both. They should have ungraded gemstones as well as graded gemstones for anyone that actually wants that, right? There are people that want ungraded gemstones, and it happens all the time because, number one, it's less costly, and number two, maybe it's a gemstone that they don't need a certificate for because it's too small, or if it's a certain type of gemstone, they don't care if they have a certificate, and it makes sense for them to not pay that extra money for a certificate. But if you are buying a natural diamond, lab-grown diamond, or even a moissanite where it's in the hundreds to thousands of dollars, hypothetically, then maybe it makes more sense to have a certificate so that you can know exactly what you paid for. Because in theory, that gemstone was sent to a laboratory that was graded to give you the 4Cs, the cut, the color, the carat weight, as well as the clarity grade, right? So so that's important to actually have that. So far, if you like what you hear and you really got some value out of this, make sure you hit the like button and give us a thumbs up. Now that said, let's go into the next step. Now, number 3, it's consider their policies, right? Most reputable jewelers, if they care about the reputation, will stand behind their products. They'll have policies in place to help protect the customer that's customer friendly. So for example, if you were to buy a piece of jewelry, wouldn't it make you feel better to know that you have 30 days to actually return that piece of jewelry should you not be satisfied? Wouldn't it make you be more comfortable working with a jeweler if they had a 1-year warranty to know that once you walk out that door or place that order online, that should something happen to that piece of jewelry is covered under warranty, right? If you are working with a jeweler that doesn't stand behind their products, that is something that you should definitely question, because in case you're in a situation where you're gonna need them later, and if they say no, it's gonna be very difficult on you, because then it's gonna have to come out of your pocket to go to a different jeweler to fix or maintain your jewelry, right? So it's extremely important to understand that they also have customer friendly policies. That said, also do keep in mind that most jewelers will never actually have a return policy for a custom made piece of jewelry, because at the end of the day, it was custom made to your unique taste. It wasn't a pre-designed piece. So that makes sense, right? So for example, let's just say, I buy shoes, right? If I wanted to custom make some of my shoes, I don't expect the shoe company to actually accept a return because I told them to put red laces on, I don't know, green soles, for example, to make it look like Christmas, right? That would be pretty messed up if I told him to take it back because I did not like it. I didn't want it to look like Christmas every single day when I told him to do that, right? So keep in mind that obviously some common sense makes sense too. But for the most part, a reputable jeweler should have great policies in place for the customers. Now, number 4, read reviews. If you're shopping online, it's very common to read reviews, to read both positive and negative reviews. And do also understand that if you are working with a reputable jeweler, for the most part, many times reputable jewelers have been around the block for a long time. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20, 25, 30 years, maybe a couple of generations. It's very unlikely that 100% of their customers are going to be satisfied with them. Right? So you're always going to find some even very well-known reputable jewelers will have a couple of negative reviews here and there, only because it's just common. So that's why use some common sense, where as long as there are much more positive reviews than negative reviews, that's usually a good sign, especially if they've been in the business for a long time, because the laws of probabilities will basically say that there's a high chance that there's going to be a couple of unhappy customers over the years. So if you read the reviews, you'll have a better understanding, a well-balanced understanding of their positives and their negatives in terms of the overall products and services. Now, here's another pro tip. Also be mindful where you're reading these reviews. Make sure you're reading it from a credible source. There are so many different websites now. There are so many places online now where people could just write anything and everything. And unfortunately, there are many third-party websites where they don't monitor it. There's no moderator that will validate whether or not this person is a customer or not. Unfortunately, there are many people out there, or even competitors of other companies, that will go on there, pretend they're a customer just to write a bad review to bash another company. Unfortunately, that's the case. It's one of the situations where it's not a very great to do, but it does happen. So just be mindful of that. So if you're going to read reviews, go to a credible source that validates these reviews, that verify these reviews, that these people are actually customers. All right. And then last but not least, verify that these jewelers have contact information. I can't emphasize this enough. Personally, I would not buy anything from anybody where the contact information isn't available. We are living in 2023, okay? In 2023, when you're buying something from somebody, I understand that many things have been automated. Hey, when I was growing up, when I needed to reach out to customer service, regardless if it was to a bank, regardless if it was to a company, a manufacturing company, say for a TV where it broke and I had to call for a warranty, or if it's any kind of company, I used to have to actually call and talk to somebody in customer support, right? But over the years, through the evolution of the internet, it's been much more automated, right? So many companies nowadays actually take away their phone numbers. However, there's still a chat service, email, contact form, social media, right? Things have evolved, but the communication should still be there, because at the end of the day, when you're buying jewelry, it is a service and product business where you want to work with somebody. You don't want to just put your money online and hopefully a ring shows up at your door, right? So I would say, if you're to go on a website where you're trying to buy a piece of jewelry online, but there isn't a chat service, no email address, no contact form, no social media presence, or no phone number, that's very sketchy. I would definitely reconsider buying from them. I would definitely at least try to find out if they have any kind of a contact information, because at the end of the day, you don't want to pay for something that you may not ever get. Right? So it's important. It's important that you understand when you are buying a jewelry online with a jeweler that they can be contacted. So in case you ever need anything in the future, or even during the time when you're making the purchase, that you can communicate with somebody. So that said, buying online, what it does is expands your options. So if you don't want to feel limited to the local jewelers in your community, then it can definitely expand your options. But again, check their credentials, look for certificates, consider the return policies and the warranties and the other customer friendly policies, read reviews, and last but not least, make sure they have contact information. Now, if you haven't checked out our previous video, you can definitely click here, tap there, and it'll take you right there, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.